Hi, everybody, to our first virtual journey through China on this channel. This channel is in English, of course. And today we have again Xiaoyu, we have Anne, and we have Manu. So Xiaoyu, could you quickly introduce yourself? What is your China story?
Oh, this time I took some old pictures of mine with my parents. As before I left China, I'm really my thanks my dad. We did have a lot of time and opportunities to go around the country. So this time I take some old travel picture again. So I want to share these pictures with you guys and some of the stories of us.
But originally you're from Xi'an, right?
Yeah, yes, I'm
And
from Shanghai. Mhm.
which is an important city, right? I mean, it's the capital of many dynasties, and you have the terracotta warriors there, and so on, right? Yes.
Xi'an
And now,
is the start at the end. I'm sorry. Xi'an is the start and the end of the Silk Road,
Mhm.
and Xi'an has been 13 times capital for 13 different kind of dynasty. So
Mhm.
there are a lot of different culture and folks mixed together, and here you see how the cultures mix together, and it's a beautiful point. My husband used to say Xi'an is somehow like the Rome of China.
Mhm. Okay. Of course, there's many Romes in China. I mean, yeah, if
Yeah,
you
for
want to
sure.
use that analogy. Okay,
Yes.
good.
But Rome is
Then,
also charming. Rome is
mm,
very charming city.
good. Then we have Anne. Anne, could you quickly introduce yourself? What is your China story?
Um, I was there. I'm studying sinology, and before I went to study, I went to China for 3.5 months, and I could stay with a Chinese family, with the grandmother, husband, my guest mother, and their 3-year-old son. And I went there to learn Chinese. In the maybe somebody knows the Hutong School in Shanghai, and yes, there was a lot of very good experience, and I think I got to know China a little bit more.
Mm,
Yeah.
okay. And Manu, what is your China story?
My China story personally is that about approximately 10 years ago for work, I had the first opportunity to get there. So I stayed mainly in Shanghai for the same 3.5 years. And that was a really good experience. So work there, live there, travel around, know some people. And well, now I'm back here in Europe, in Switzerland, but still keep the link and you try to travel to China as much as possible.
Mm. Yeah, because it's quite difficult right now to travel to China. We try to compensate that by having a virtual China tour today. So then we just start. So basically the first picture is from Anne. Anne, maybe you can quickly say something about it?
Yes. This was in near the place where we lived in Luxing Road. There was a nursery school for kids from like 2 to 4 or 5 years. And this is actually before they go to kindergarten, I think. They go into there, it's like a group of 5, 6, 7 children. And this is a place where they can play during the daytime when the parents are not at home. They are there, and we teach them to learn very easy English, and with lots of like playful methods. And there, yeah.
So just a question. Basically, this means in China, everybody is learning English.
I think they learn from very young, at a very young age, they begin to learn English because, of course, the competition is very high. And if your child can learn English or take up classes for example, math in very young ages, then it's better for how to say, for your CV or something like that.
For your future career
Yes,
opportunities, right? Yeah.
exactly.
Great. Yes. So, how about we go to the next picture? This is from Xiaoyu.
Oh, that one is quite old. I was 10 years old. That's 1920. No, 1986. We that was on the top of Taishan, Tai Mountain in Shandong province. My dad got paid by his company for summer course, so we spent the whole summer in Shandong. We went to Qingdao, we went to Taishan, and the stones, what the stones with the characters on that. Taishan is a kind of symbol for the emperor. So because there was a legend that Confucius has once visited Taishan. And
So basically, sorry, Confucius is Confucius, right? Yeah.
孔子.
Confucius, yeah, yes.
Yes, I'm sorry. And he visited here, and afterwards, a lot of emperors visit the mountain also and give the mountain a kind of crown, the best or the most beautiful or powerful mountain in the country. So all these characters saying that, as emperor, I've been once here, and please guard my country. Or because the Tai Mountain is the highest mountain in the whole Shandong province. Actually, the Shandong province is quite flat, and if you go up to the peak, you can see the whole. If you are lucky enough, you can even see the ocean. That's why that's why a lot of people went up to there. And that was the morning, because everybody went to in 4 o'clock. We all went to see the sunrise. So my mom and me, we were still very tired because we wake up at, I don't know, 2 or 3 o'clock. That's a funny day. My dad rent kind of thick winter clothes for us, and but it was summer. My dad was the only one in the whole group without any winter stuff. It was really chilling in the morning, but it's a nice feeling seeing the beautiful sun rise from the ocean. It was amazing.
So, like, for example, here in Switzerland, where there's a lot of tourists, you would see some tourists, they scribble something on some wood or on a wall or whatever to say, I was here. And this is basically the same thing. It's just with emperors and with huge stones on this Tai mountain, right?
Yes, that's roughly on that. Normally, the emperors wrote by himself, and somebody just scribed it into the stone. But sometimes there were also a lot of very famous historical, or I don't know, very important politicians or authors for poets. There are also a lot of poets on the stone. So it has more how to say that, historic and ecological meaning behind that. Yeah, behind that. For Chinese folks, that means a lot. Because we are quite romantic somehow inside of us, and we we are somehow quite similar as the Italian people, and we with our long history, and we like melancholic songs, melancholic poets. So we left this kind of stuffs everywhere in our country, and probably for the European it doesn't mean anything, but for Chinese that means a lot. Yeah, that means it's both culture, it's both art, culture, and pollution and history in one. Yeah, it's kind of monomum.
Okay.
Let's say that. Yeah, because
Nice.
our songs are, I don't know, 2,000 years or 1,000 years. Some of them, yeah, but quite old. Sorry, I'm finished.
Okay. Yeah, very interesting. Thank you. So let's go to the next picture. It's from you, Manu. Where was that?
Well, this was so in Chengdu, in Sichuan. So in Chengdu, you get the panda research base. So basically, it's the paradise for panda lovers. That's probably the place in the country and on the planet where you can see most pandas around. So that's at the same time for the visitor, you can see that as a zoo, but at the same time for Chinese, that's the place where they are studying and breeding and saving pandas. So it's one place just a bit outside the city where you can go and get birds from I don't know how many birds they get from pandas every year, but they grow the pandas from nothing to adulthood, and that's really interesting there because you can really see how the pandas behave and how their behavior evolves also over time. Because when you see the kids, like the two on the picture here, it's always very playful. They can't stop a second. They're always making fun with each other. They play with the carers. They're really active and really thing. And then after, when they get older, you see them more passive, resting, going around and eating most of the day, eating and sleeping most of the day. But this place in Chengdu for that is really a nice place. And Chengdu, so in Sichuan, is at the same time is a very nice place. It's more on the west side of the country, close to the mountain. I went there for a trip where we went around Chengdu. We just didn't stay in Chengdu. We went in the north up to Jiaigo, which is quite famous there for the beautiful views with the lakes, the mountains. There has been an earthquake a couple of years ago there, which seems to have damaged, unfortunately, a lot of things. But that was a beautiful place, and I guess that now they have reopened it finally. I don't know what's left from it, but you get beautiful lakes with great colors. You get the limestones, which is depositing slowly on all kinds of trees which are there at the bottom of these lakes and thing. And you walk around all that, you get different landscapes, different colors. It's really a beautiful place. All Sichuan, yes, it's all mountains. So if you go more on the south of Chengdu, we went also to another famous place, which is Meishan, which is one of the sacred mountains there. You get also another very often famous place, which is Leshan, where you get, I guess it's one of the tallest Buddhas still standing, which
I think it was from the Tang Dynasty, right? This Buddha.
End of Tang Dynasty.
End of Tang Dynasty. Okay, yeah.
Today you can go there. It's a 70 meters tall Buddha, which is just next to the river. You have Chengdu is a very nice place where you can go and visit. The city itself is nice, and one thing which I particularly liked when I was there was also the food. One of my thing in China was to discover spicy food, and Sichuan, from that point of view, is one of the place for it. So I really like also the food there. So Chengdu was a really nice destination, and everything around.
Yes, and I mean it's interesting to see that the pandas, and that's the reason why the World Wildlife Fund has the panda in their logo, was basically an animal that was almost extinct, but now in China, the local governments, or even the national governments, they are breeding them again. And now actually pandas are not a species that is almost extinct anymore. So they replenished the pandas basically.
Then, I mean, they accumulate two problems. I mean, one which is common to a lot of species, which is that they're, I mean, the place where they live is reducing by the day, so it's more and more difficult to for them to find some place. But on top of that, they have a second issue, which is compared to some other species, they are quite difficult to mate. The period is quite short, and it seems that they are not very interested in the problem. So when you limit the space and at the same time they have very few opportunities to reproduce, that's why the number of pandas were so getting quite low. And places like this Chengdu research base, Panda research base, is really great because that helps for maintaining the species, studying the thing. All the pandas that you can observe today around the world, they are most of the time sent from China, from these places. And they're really managing the species now. So fortunately, pandas, let's say, it's still probably in, I don't know, it's probably still in critical situation, but maybe not as bad as it used to be. So.
Okay, great. Then let's move on to the next picture. This one is actually from me. I made this picture in the National Museum of China in Beijing, and it was for the 40th anniversary of opening up China, something like that. I guess it's shortly before Shenzhen was made a special economic zone or so. But anyway, so at this exhibition, they would show different pieces of technology, like futuristic technologies. And here, for example, what you see here, it basically looks like a huge iPad. But I mean, on top, it even has a camera, this little black part there on the top. And I think there's also many more cameras. I think there's like a whole array of camera. And basically, when you're standing in front of it, like this woman is, for example, just doing, then you can do a 3D scan of your whole body. And actually, this person you see on the display is actually this woman who scanned her into virtuality or whatever. And now she can basically, like on a computer game, she can choose a new hairstyle and new clothings and whatever. And yeah, I mean, it was just fascinating to see that. I would like to have something like that in Switzerland. So yeah. Then, I think Xiaoyu will soon come again. But let's move on now to the next picture. This is from Anne.
This is Shanghai, of course. You can see the three very popular towers. One is the Qingmao Tower, the one in the middle, I think. Then there's the Shanghai Financial Center. That's the
one with the hole, right?
The left one, the bottle opener.
Yeah.
It's also called bottle opener because, yeah, it looks like that. And what didn't I say? The Shanghai Tower is the right one, the turned one.
The huge one, huh? Yeah.
I
Have you been in one of those, or?
I've been on top of the left one, the bottle opener. It's a really fantastic view. You can see like the whole city, and it's quite amazing.
As a paradox, I think the one where you see the nicest view is the Pearl Tower, because it's the first one, it's the lowest one, but actually you get a completely glass floor where you have everything below that people normally quite like, and that's really impressive.
But the Pearl Tower is the one with the violet or the pink pearl in the middle. I think you cannot see it here, right?
Yeah. It's not on this picture, but yes.
The middle,
nearby.
No, the pearl, it's the one on the left. The first one is the Jinmao. Then the one behind on the left is the Shanghai Financial Center, and the right one is the Shanghai Tower.
But you were talking about the Pearl Tower, the Oriental Pearl Tower.
It's nearby, but it's not on this picture.
Yeah, it's just on the left. Actually, the picture is just a bit tight, but it's just on the left of that.
Yeah,
I've only been on the top of Jingmao many years ago, 12 years ago. It's a nice view.
I haven't been on Jinmao because when I was there at the Jinmao Tower, I couldn't find any entry for the observation deck. But I only later found out that actually the Jinmao doesn't have an observation deck, but they have a restaurant out on the very top, which you can go for free, which I was stupid too, didn't know that. But and
on the Jinman Tower, what they had, I don't know if they still do it, but they had a special platform which was just outdoor, but completely outdoor. And when you wanted to go there, so you had to ask to call somewhere because it was not something accessible like the rest. And you were really outside. You were attached, like if you were going climbing, rock climbing somewhere, and you were really outdoor on a platform. If you wanted, you could just sit with your legs in the void. It was really a special thing. But they were only doing it if the weather was good, if everything was good, because several times they were saying no. So, but it was Jingmao Tower was fun for that.
I mean, I went to the observation deck of the World Financial Center, the one with the hall, and also of the Shanghai Tower, the big one. It's actually very easy to go up there because the elevator is so fast. I think it takes maybe 2 or 3 minutes or so. I don't know anymore. And I've seen pictures that on the Shanghai Tower, there are some pictures where you are basically above the clouds or above the fog or whatever, where basically you just see around you, you just see clouds or so. That was very stunning, but when I was there, the view was not very good. So, but anyway.
Actually, I think it's amazing because other parts like Beijing is usually very foggy, but Shanghai, most of the time in summer, it was blue sky when I was there in 2017.
Okay,
like in this picture here.
And of course, Shanghai has a very nice view. I mean, because there's thousands of skyscrapers in Shanghai, and you can see the Bund, the old buildings from like 200 years ago or so, right? So yeah. Okay, so then let's move on now to this picture here. Where is this, Xiaoyu?
It's in Wuhan, Huanghelou. It's very it's most famous temple in Wuhan, one of the very famous sightseeing place in China. I went there with my dad in 1995 in summer, and that was before the Yangtze Dam get finished. So we decided spontaneous to make the trip in summer and before the Yangtze getting to a lake. So we after 3 days and 3 nights ship travel. Well, I mean, we went down with the ship. Then we arrived Wuhan. That's here. If you go up to the tower, you can see almost the whole city. The city, the Wuhan city is one of the biggest city in China because totally there are 3 cities in Wuhan. Wuhan, Hankou, Hanyang, Wuchang. All 3 cities belong to one city, so it's a monopoly. It's a huge one. So here, if you go up the tower, you can see the whole, and you can see the Yangtze is becoming very, very broad. The very huge ship can drive on the river. And yeah.
So actually, this is kind of an ancient skyscraper in China, right? I mean,
because of a poet, because Wang Wang Changling, at the beginning of Tang Dynasty, he is one of the young talent poet in that age. He wrote one of the most beautiful poets in China, in the whole Chinese history, about the site from Yangtze into the sun. Into the sun, and that's why everybody is visiting this temple. For sure, this temple it's a rebuilt one, because the one from Tang Dynasty has been burned twice, I believe. Yeah, in the past.
Mm. But basically, I mean, Chinese people like to be on the top. I mean, on the top in terms of they like to have a good view. So, for example, I mean, I guess you could already have a nice view on top of that building, right? That's why they made it so tall, right? And
yeah, that the name of the building, if you translate it into English, it's yellow storch. How do you say storch in English?
Crane. Well, crane is a different bird, but it's almost similar. But stork,
yeah,
maybe.
stork.
Yeah, stock. Yeah, the yellow stock tower. So we call that in that way. It's because he said the one of the fear is flying on the stalk away into the sun. So that poet is so beautiful. That's why I mean folks spotted this temple also in the yellow color. That's it's a lot of Chinese monuments are bonding with the Chinese poet. So yeah.
And Manu, I think you once told me that in Wuhan there's also a big partnership between the French car manufacturers, right, and some Chinese car manufacturers.
Not just French manufacturers. I think in Wuhan, if you skip maybe Shanghai, it's probably the place where a lot of French companies are installed. Yes, it's probably the largest, I would say, French installment in China beyond Shanghai and in Wuhan.
Because it's a huge industrial city as well.
Yeah, but very often what happens from an industrial point of view is once someone starts to set its base there with the company set its base somewhere, everything around starts to come because they always work together and they make kind of a groupment. So that's in Wuhan you could even find the consulate there, which you normally can't find in many cities. There is even the consulate to support all that. So let's say a lot of French businesses are actually installed in Wuhan. Yeah. And it's one of the few cities where you get a direct flight connection too between France and China, which normally is we have Beijing, Shanghai, a few other cities like that, but not that many. And with Wuhan, that's one of the few cities where you can get direct flight. So there is
Renault has the cooperation there. Renault.
Yeah, but not only Renault, Peugeot, I think they all have different things there, but it's not only cars. I think a lot of companies now just get there because there is a kind of things which, maybe when you have somewhere working where it's easier to get to you, then people just get along and get close to that, and that's easier for them. So yes, in one there is a lot of let's say small French diaspora there.
Okay, so thanks a lot again. This was like the first episode of our virtual journey through China. We will now finish this session, and then you will see us again in the next session. So again, thank you very much for joining in, and see you in the next episode. See you. Thank you. Bye-bye.